And we're live, Matt. It's a miracle that we're able to record this week. There's a cyber attack going on. Are you okay?
This is why you have to have redundant comms.
Yes, we're recording live over Mesh Network right now. The cyber attack is upon us. And no matter what happens, RHR will be recording. We'll become as redundant and robust as possible for you freaks.
We're live.
You are live.
We made it. Do you think it's a cyber attack?
I don't know. They're saying it's coming after the pharmacies now. People can't get their pills.
Well, fuck the pharmacies. So AT&T was down for like 6 hours.
It said T-Mobile. T-Mobile as well. I'm a T-Mobile user. I didn't see any problems.
From like no, I think people are idiots, right? So they were like going on Down Detector and saying like Verizon and T-Mobile and all the other ones were out. But I think that's like they were trying to like communicate with people on AT&T. Maybe AT&T was like the original monopoly, so maybe there's some overlapping infrastructure that like AT&T went down and took some people with them. But it seems like it's mostly like AT&T and what this article says, Cricket Wireless, which is owned by AT&T, right? Like any of those MVNOs, like those fake cell providers that then use AT&T as their back end. But it seems like it's mostly been limited to AT&T. Right, there's two different possibilities. It's aging infrastructure and a horribly run business that is, a quasi monopoly and they fuck something up. Or it was a malicious actor. But I wouldn't rule out malicious attack. And I actually had a freak reach out that said he had a good source that says AT&T was breached, and it won't be public information for a bit.
Interesting. Was it Iran? Was it North Korea?
I got. That's all I have.
Was it the CIA pretending to be Iran and North Korea?
I cannot verify my source. He couldn't verify his source. It was like one step between. But this did happen in Mandibles. So
you had to say it. Drink freaks.
Marty doesn't know, but I put Mandibles in the title.
We joke now, but we could wake up tomorrow. People could have the inability to access this episode. They just had the memory of joining the live stream and saying Marty was making a big joke about all this, and here we are in the middle of the cyber attack.
I would say it's a good time to do a cyber attack because half the country just would immediately blame our own government. Just like, and not without good reason, But you could do a cyber attack, and like the Chinese government or the Iranian government could literally have a press conference where they were like, we just attacked AT&T, or like we just attacked the U.S., and half the country would be like, nope, it was the U.S. government. Yeah. They just would not believe the press conference.
They're losing control. Yeah. I'm not going to lie, might fall in that half, depending on what happens.
Like I said, it would be a good time to do it.
I mean, we're lucky to have you on our team here in the freedom movement. You'd be a very good intel advisor.
It'd be more profitable.
Could you imagine? It'd be way more profitable. Could you imagine that timeline? There is an alternative universe where Matt Odell's a mastermind strategic advisor to the intel services of the world.
All they have to do is read Mandibles.
Yeah.
We're giving them the alpha.
We need alternate universe Matt avatars.
Oh, I got to pull up Slipstream.
Oh, you haven't already? I'm in it. We've got over 15K in boost already, or around 15K.
I'm in an undisclosed location, and as a result, I'm on a laptop.
I mean, Carlos is complimenting your setup. You look clean. You look bright. Good lighting. Looking crisp as fuck. That's what Carlos is saying.
Thank you, Carlos. I know this episode is later than you would like, but deal with it.
It's a morning rip.
Okay, I'm in there. By the way, freaks, if you're not aware, we have our our Nostr enabled, Bitcoin enabled live chat at rhr.tv/stream. You do not need a Nostr account to use it. Just go to rhr.tv/stream in your favorite browser.
I'm telling you, the Nostr live chat is absolutely murdering the YouTube live chat right now. We've got 4 comments in YouTube and probably over 3 dozen in Nostr already. I think the live chat is successfully migrated full time.
Yeah.
Zap.stream.
As much as I hate YouTube, I think it's still necessary until we get banned, because people like the TV apps and stuff. They like that they can easily cast it to their TV. I think you can cast Zap Stream to the TV as well, but the real live chat is the Nostr live chat. That's the one I have open. I can't see the YouTube live chat.
Thank you, freaks, for boosting in the live chat above 25,000 sats zapped already. I'm saying boosting. I'm getting yelled at for saying boosting. Zap boosting. You get what I'm trying to say here, freaks.
They're different things.
Same outcome.
To make it extra confusing, some Nostr clients call renoding boosting.
Renoding. Oh, you're signal boosting, but you're not value boosting. Interesting.
You know, like the Nostr equivalent of retweeting, they call that boosting, just to make it a little bit more confusing.
Lovely. Let's get it together here, freaks. We had a long segment last week making fun of Nostr. This is too close to turd. We need to get the nomenclature down across all these platforms.
And we don't. It's embrace the chaos.
For me, it's a chaotic.
Embrace the chaos.
Okay.
With chaos comes opportunity. There's chaos
is a ladder.
There's no centralized dictator in control, so people can call it whatever they want. But I like renoding. It's you note something on Nostr and then you renode it.
It sounds like you're saying renode though, and then now I'm like, what are we renoding? Are we downloading a new node? What's going on here? Speaking of good notes, though, I actually, right before we hopped on here, you're trending on primal.net, #1, with the 15-minute video clip of Meredith Whittaker from last July sitting down.
Not on air.
No, it's way too long. She was sitting down with a politician from the UK talking about
some corrupt British politician.
Yeah, the backdoor encryption bill that they've been trying to pass in the UK.
That failed. It actually failed.
Yeah.
Partially because Signal and WhatsApp and Apple pushed back against it.
Yeah. Very illuminating 15 minutes there. If you want to get a peek into the world of doublespeak and propaganda from the government.
She's an incredibly impressive speaker.
She is.
It's good to have her. It's good to have her on Team Freedom.
She really is.
I know I couldn't handle myself that well with that guy on the other side.
Yeah. Should we just announce? I know we have Signal on the list while we're talking about Meredith and Signal. Pretty big update from them this week.
Massive update.
Yes.
Yeah, we could talk about it. Signal's finally adding usernames, so you don't have to share your phone number to connect to someone on Signal, which is sorely needed. It'll allow me to finally pull the plug on Telegram, which also requires a phone number, but like Signal now won't share that phone number with other people, if you believe them. And they did it in a really interesting, compelling way, which is basically the username is not. It's like it's ephemeral username, right? So you can change the username at will. It's not shown to people. If you're at an event or something and you tell people to connect to you with a certain username, and then you want to dispose of that, you can just switch it at any time. So I thought that was pretty clever, and it also comes with like a share link, so you can post it on the internet or something like that if you want people to connect to you on Signal. Right now, it's for beta users only. Over the next 2 weeks, they'll be rolling it out to everyone. So don't rush into it, because if someone's still on the old setup, they're going to still be able to see your phone number. but we're close. We're very close, and this was a a long time coming. People have been asking for this, ourselves included, for a very long time.
Shout out to the team at Signal for getting this to market. This is a pretty big upgrade because it is weird. I meet people, and I prefer Signal as like my go-to app, and then I have to give them my phone number.
Yeah,
it's very weird.
They're still going to require phone numbers to sign up, which they mainly use as a spam prevention mechanism. It's a pretty lazy spam prevention mechanism. A lot of different services do that. Proton Mail does it, which is really frustrating still. But I think you can replace that with a one-time Bitcoin payment. So you pay like $30 in Bitcoin, and you can replace that. So hopefully they do replace that at some point soon. Signal, like any other tool, has trade-offs. I think it's a very effective tool, and it's a very effective trade-off balance, but it's not perfect. A lot of people like to quote tech expert Tucker Carlson on his issues with Signal and saying that Signal is compromised. He was most likely compromised by Pegasus or something like that, where his phone was compromised, not Signal itself. Where if you compromise someone's phone, with you either compromise the person or you compromise the person they're speaking with, you can obviously see all messages and everything else on the phone. So that is the most likely scenario. I think it's a little bit frustrating that he keeps repeating it. His audience, likes to just blindly believe in everything he says. So I think it's a little bit counterintuitive for a lot of them, because even though it's not perfect, it's strictly a net benefit over almost every alternative. So consider using Signal more. I've moved a lot of my life over to Signal, and it's just a very user-friendly app, right? Like, it's just very effective. So yeah, keep that in mind. The Tucker clip in the Tucker story, he's said it multiple times now. In question is when he was first thinking about interviewing Putin, he only discussed it via Signal, and somehow the U.S. government and the NSA found out that he was doing it and pressured him not to do it. And he didn't do the first interview. He waited, like a year and a half until he did the second interview. Did the interview, but for the second time. But it's important to realize, like, he was talking to people in Russia and the Kremlin and stuff, and it's come out since then that the U.S. government compromised a shit ton of Kremlin-linked iPhones. So, like, he doesn't know where that information was, like, who was sharing that information on the Russia side. He doesn't know where those different things happened. He doesn't know if his phone was compromised by Pegasus. Unfortunately, like, the way it used to be is you'd have, sophisticated governments could crack this shit, and unsophisticated governments couldn't. But now that you have the NSO group and other, like surveillance mercenary organizations, they just sell it to any dictator that wants it. So, like, third world dictators have access to these tools as well. Like, they can compromise journalists. They can compromise, like, a Jeff Bezos, with something like Pegasus. And then
wasn't a hacking team the company that Coinbase acquired? Weren't they behind Pegasus? And weren't they caught selling it?
No, they were behind something else. Pegasus is NSO Group, which is comes out of the same Israeli intelligence unit as the company Elon uses for KYC on
Unit 8200.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're getting access to everything. Be aware. Carlos did mention in the chat, while yes, you do need a phone number for spam prevention upon sign up, you can use a VoIP phone number. You can buy a burner and use that.
They don't even block, like, simple VoIP numbers. Like, if you use something like MySudo or like Hushed, like the different apps you can get on the App Store that make the digital VoIP numbers, and a lot of services do block those. Like, Twitter blocks VoIP numbers, WhatsApp blocks VoIP numbers, but Signal does not. You can use one of those if you want just like a limited level of protection. Obviously, those might be connected to your App Store account or your Apple Pay or something like that. But if you're just like an average person, it's an easy way to just improve your setup because you just like point and click. Obviously, you can use something like silent.link. which is a great service to get prepaid eSIMs with Bitcoin, not connected to your identity. But yeah, be aware.
Beware. And ideally, they implement the solution that you laid out, which is just have me pay a $30 Lightning invoice. I would gladly do that for all the value I get out of Signal.
I think the big thing is it completely eliminates Telegram now for me. Like, there's no need for Telegram. I don't want Telegram on my phone. I don't want Telegram on my computer. I can just move all those chats. I can just move over to Signal now and not worry about my phone number being shared with people I'm talking to.
Yeah. It's, and two, they're nonprofit as well. So you think they were forward thinking, implement this Bitcoin spam prevention mechanism, stack some Bitcoin, head it into a bull market, fund the nonprofit organization. It's a great way to do it.
I think they're very conservative. They move very slow. It is what it is. I do like that setup. It's not a perfect setup, right? It's still centralized. There's still people that can be pressured. That's why you see the president of the Signal Foundation, Meredith, in these interviews fighting back against this type of regulation. They still use, Amazon servers. The way the app is set up is you're not supposed to be trusting those servers anyway. The apps are open source, but I do like the concept. I think there's a place there for tools that are centralized but run by nonprofits that have a strict mandate of no surveillance, right? And then it's like a bridge in like the freedom tech kind of arsenal. And then you have ones that are not controlled whatsoever, which are absolutely necessary. But as a middle ground, Signal, I think, is just a perfect example of they've been very successful at spreading relatively strong encryption standards around the world and like making it a standard.
Yeah. It's beautiful thing to see. And yeah, I think in Bitcoin too, we've had some conversations behind the scenes. Going the legal route via a nonprofit organization, a 501(c) here in the U.S. is a creative solution that I think 501(c)(3) is a creative solution that I think more individuals in critical parts of the Bitcoin stack should be thinking about.
Yeah, it's like, you're still like fighting within the legal realms, right? Rather than just building unstoppable tools. But it seems to be effective as long as we live in a relatively free country.
Don't say it. We don't live in a free country. Actually, it seems states are asserting their rights, which I like to see, which gets us closer to freedom. Signal, making big moves. Love to see it. Long awaited. Very excited to begin testing that out in the next couple of weeks.
And then also, like, if you haven't seen Meredith's interview, like, you should go. I posted 2 interviews on Nostr. If you go to primal.net/Odell, they're both about 15 minutes. One was on French TV, one was on British TV. Just watch them. They're worth the watch.
She's extremely impressive. That was not an easy interview or a co-interviewee to be sitting next to.
He like accused her of like facilitating child porn and shit. Like it was bottom of the barrel shit, and she handled it with class.
She did. Meredith, if you're listening, keep it up. You're crushing it. All right, on to Clark's dashboard. The current price of Bitcoin is 51,590 cuckbucks. One cuckbuck's going to get you 1,938 sats. We're sitting right above a $1 trillion market cap, currently at 1.01 trillion. We are at block height 831,575, which means we are 1,033 blocks away from the next difficulty adjustment, which is estimated to be on February 29th. It's a leap year, freaks. Very interesting that we have a difficulty retarget on leap year day. Right now, it's looking like a negative 5.1% adjustment. Block's been coming in at 10 minutes and 31 seconds on average since the last retarget. In Clark's teeny weeny mempool, we have 59,144 transactions. If we go over to mempool, space, we have 145,829 transactions.
Look at that. Mempools haven't cleared yet, Marty.
I'm not cleared yet, but relatively cheap. If you have a low priority transaction, you're going to be able to get that in at 17 sats per VByte. Medium priority, 21 sats per VByte. And if you're looking to get into the next block, make sure you attach a 25 sat per VByte fee to your transaction. Only $1.80 right now. So for sending large amounts, you can get it confirmed rather quickly and rather cheaply. Back to Clark's dashboard. We're looking at 10,692.75 Bitcoin unspent capacity on Samurai's Whirlpool. That is $551.6 million in unspent value. That is the state of the network. Big downward difficulty adjustment coming next week after a big upward adjustment last week of 8.2%. So seems like the mining industry is settling in a little bit right now. A little reprieve from hash rate screaming. What are you laughing at?
Carlos said I'm posing for a passport picture.
Well, I like the earlier comment, which is if you unbutton one more button, we're going to have to change this to fap.stream.
That one made me a little bit uncomfortable. Keep it in your pants.
Joke's on you, freaks. We're now an OnlyFans account.
We knew Marty was going to come full circle.
The zaps weren't enough. We have to sell our bodies. Please zap us so we don't have to turn this into a fap.stream. Only faps.
Nope.
Only on Noster.
Not going to happen.
And with that being said, I'm going to show everybody my bald spot and try to signal to Parker and Carr. We're waiting outside. Logan, why don't you go get them? They're going to come in and talk about what we're doing during South by Southwest week here in Austin. Beautiful thing. If you want to come to the Bitcoin Takeover, March 15th, we have Pleb Lab Builders Day the day before. A bunch of other activities. Look at these guys moseying. We got a setup in here for you, gentlemen. We prepared. This is not Parker. This is probably the fourth or fifth time you've done this. Oh,
are you fucking kidding me?
We just locked. Hey, you can still hear me. You can't see me.
What's going on here?
He came in like a wrecking ball.
Not on screen.
He came in like a wrecking ball. Pick up your mic and your headset there.
Sorry.
I ninja launched this on Matt too, so.
Can't hear anything, Logan.
These blue checks can't even fucking handle.
Oh, there we go. I can hear something.
Matt still can't hear us. Matt, you don't want to see what just happened.
I can hear you.
Got it.
What kind of hat is that, man?
Marty's mic.
There
This
we go.
hat faded. It's my primal Noster hat.
Nice.
I'll bring you one when I get to Austin.
Cool.
The live chat, Average Gary, sorry that your ears are bleeding. I don't know if it was my singing or the loud disruption we had here in the office.
We'll give you a blue check when you get to Austin, Matt.
I think he was talking about it came in like a wrecking ball. Never, Parker. Just quit Twitter. Just quit.
I'm telling you,
Twitter.
people are
He already
really
quit Facebook.
people are arguing that I should get a blue check mark for everyone's benefit.
What?
You know, just
Yeah.
bend the knee.
But we have physical blue check marks sent to us courtesy of Bitcoin Park, and
No, that was BTC Pin sent those, right?
Yes, BTC pins. I've got a box full of blue checks.
but somebody from Bitcoin Park sent them to us. So now we award them physically based on merit.
I mean, we have traders in our midst over at the park. I tried to ban blue checks and I got overruled. It was a sad day.
I do like that hat you have, though.
Thank you. I'll bring you one as well.
Okay.
You're a fan of Noster now? You know that's
No, I
Noster,
just like
but-
the aesthetic of the hat.
Okay.
You see, it's like
I
the
can
little.
I can
the little
admit when
feature has grown and evolved into.
yeah, I see. I like the colors.
I don't know. Camo conflicting with red, white, and blue. I don't,
It's technically pink, Marty.
Oh.
it looks red.
Yeah, it looks
Definitely not.
orange, kind of. Maybe fuchsia.
Well,
So
okay,
we're here.
this is a podcast.
You got to
What
get
do
to
you
Houston
do?
soon.
Yeah, I got to get to Houston, so let's do this quickly.
What are we doing? You came to me yesterday. You said I
Yeah,
need to come
I
in.
need to come
Rabbit
shill
Hole.
the Bitcoin takeover. On
not
Rabbit Hole recap. What's that?
Is it not sold out yet?
It's not sold out yet. It's getting close to sold out, but we've got a few more tickets to sell, and I want to be shilling less and focusing on work more. So I got to shill early and often, get people in the seats. We've got all during South by Southwest. There's things going on in Bitcoin in Austin. So if you're thinking about it, get on it and come to Austin. On the Wednesday of South by Southwest, the 13th, we're going to have Bitcoin Urbanism with Turda Meester, Austin Tunnel, and Kelly Lannon, talking about how building on a Bitcoin standard will change how we think about cities and architecture. Then I'll let Carr talk about it. But on Thursday, we have Top Builder and Startup Day from Pleb Lab. BitDevs that night. 1031's hosting a happy hour between Startup Day and BitDevs. And then on Friday, we'll have the Bitcoin Takeover. We'll be hearing from 10 founders, CEOs, leaders of companies. We're shifting the Bitcoin Takeover this year. In the past, it's been panel focused and talking about the big ideas around Bitcoin. This is really going to be focused on what a lot of the leading Bitcoin companies are building. We'll have Justin Min from Fedi, Lisa from Base 58, John from Zapprite will talk, Steve Lee from Spiral, Matt Lostro from Giga, Jamie from Cormint, but 10 people, full day of speakers followed by a live Rabbit Hole recap. So if you like Rabbit Hole recap and you're listening right now, come here from Matt and Marty live. And that's my shill for the Bitcoin takeover.
Thanks, Parker. Yeah. So Wolf gave us a lot of money, and we said we'll take it, and we decided to do Top Builder, and that's the truth. And so we went ahead and did this application process, and it was like, I don't know, Matt. It must have been like 71 teams. I interviewed like 40 companies, potential companies. Yeah, and then got them down to like 31. 2 dropped out right away because it's really hard to do a Bitcoin company. And then we got it down to 15, and now we're trying to get it down to 5. So those 5 teams will be presenting at Top Builder on Startup Day. And Marty's a judge.
I'm a judge.
Marty's a judge. We got Lisa, she's a judge. Kelly from Wolf's a judge. And who's the last judge?
Why is Marty a judge and I'm not a judge?
Hey, don't you judge over there, okay? I'm a good judge.
Marty's Marty's just the hype man. Like, he's just going to be like, "Oh, you have a great project." Like,
well, I will say this in Marty's defense, like, Marty's been at the ground level here in Austin from the very early days, and he remembered, like, he chose Zapprite, if I remember correctly, right? Remember that?
Yeah.
So like, Marty knows. He chose Oshi, I think, too. One of your picks, maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah. There's a lot of these companies that Marty, was here that he helped, get them on their path. Anyway, long story short, we're going to get it down to 5 teams. And once we get it down to 5 teams, these guys, the judges, are going to vote on the number 1 team, and they're going to win $15K in Bitcoin, and they're going to be named Top Builder. It's basically Top Chef, but for Bitcoin. That's what
15,000 Bitcoin?
How many?
No, 15K
how many sats
in
is
Bitcoin.
$15,000 worth of Bitcoin today. 15,000 cuckbucks.
10.
Are you kidding me?
10,000 is $5,100, so that would be around 7,600 bucks.
Yeah.
I don't know if he did his math right, but
I guess I did.
Anyway, we have tickets for sale. And
Is
definitely
it,
go.
50 million sats? 50 million sats is the prize?
There you go. That sounds right.
No, it's not 50 million sats.
No, he said 15 million.
Oh, 15.
15 million, I think.
no, it's.
It's 15 million sats, right? Is that the prize?
Logan,
What's
can you
the
just
prize?
calculate this for us?
It's probably closer to like 17 or 18 million sats.
Wait. Is
Logan-
the prize in dollars or cuckbucks?
It's in Bitcoin. It's in Bitcoin. We just don't know what the price is going to be on the 14th.
No.
I mean, unless you know, Matt.
What is the prize?
Bitcoin. And
No.
and you get to call yourself Top Builder.
How much?
29 million
At
sats.
current
29
price,
million
29 million.
29 million sats.
There you go.
I'm glad we figured that out.
And also, the winner of Top Builder is going to be announced at BitDevs. So
Oh, yeah. Justin's going to announce the winner. He doesn't know this yet, but there you go, Justin. Now you know. You're announcing the winner.
the big reveal.
The big reveal.
Wait, is what the prize is? $10K?
15.
15.
Okay, got it. Yeah, so
29
million.
million sats.
Yeah, That's
It's a lot of
I'm
sats.
glad we figured this out. That's a big prize. That's a big prize.
Yeah, and you get a big trophy, and yeah, it's gonna be fun.
And so apparently I'm speaking at this event, right, Car?
You're speaking. That's true. If you want to be a judge, I can add you as a judge. I didn't know. Marty said he wanted to be a judge, so I was like, okay, I'll make Marty a judge.
And guess where we made this decision? In Nashville. We were plotting in Nashville, right under your nose.
When we bring the next,
Matt, I'll add you as a judge. If that is that okay?
I don't need to brute force myself in as a judge.
Well, I didn't know you were gonna be there, or else I would. I know Marty's here all the time. I just didn't know you were gonna be.
You think I could look Parker in the eye if I didn't show up for Bitcoin Takeover and
Yeah.
build it?
Yeah, 100%.
I do very much appreciate you coming, Matt. I do. I didn't expect you to, just with all that you guys have going on in the park. So I do really appreciate you
Well,
coming.
you come to the park all the time, so
Yeah.
no,
I enjoy it every time I come and enjoy supporting what you guys are doing there and appreciate it as well. Get a lot of value each time that I come there. So very much appreciate the opportunity to host you in Austin that week and for the takeover and to do a live rabbit hole recap.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. Friday night, rabbit hole recap live rip. Got to be there to see it. Logan will probably post it like the next Wednesday. So you're going to be waiting. I'm kidding, Logan. But
it'll be good to talk about. Hopefully we'll have some of these companies announce some things during South by Southwest. So we have the two of you guys right there to talk about it following and whatever else is going on in Bitcoin that week. So for people that are interested in coming to the takeover, they can find tickets at bitcoincommons.com or there's a link to it on Pleb Lab's site as well.
Yeah.
All right. Before you head to Houston, before we wrap up this Austin update section, what's the vibe check in Austin right now?
Vibes are
Everybody's in, vibes are high, but I think everybody's in Argentina right now for Bitcoin plus plus. That's the problem.
That's true. I mean, vibes substantively
Lisa took
are
everybody
high.
with her.
Lisa did. She got her commit merged last week and then literally jettisoned and took everyone there to Buenos Aires.
We've got a new restaurant opening up soon here in the Littlefield building. It looks awesome. It's great being able to look in there now.
It does, and that means no construction downstairs for you anymore.
Yes.
They accept Bitcoin?
Bitcoin Marty did not deal with the volatility of construction downstairs.
I almost threw a chair through the window yesterday.
Really, Marty?
Yesterday was particularly bad.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Why?
It was just so loud. So loud. Vibes are high here.
What kind of restaurant?
Mexican.
Oh.
High-end Mexican.
Olay.
Excuse me?
Do they accept
Not
Bitcoin?
yet. Not yet.
Not yet.
Is that
We're
right?
starting to orange pill the building right now.
I feel like we rolled over that, but huge shout out to Lisa. I'm sure the BTC++ event in Argentina is fucking fire. So
Yeah, but the pictures that they're blasting out everywhere look really cool.
she's a fucking legend.
That's what I'm here for, to remind you guys about all
Parker,
the
while I have
important
you on
things
the
happening.
show, now that you're a Lightning influencer, I was curious, what's your favorite Lightning wallet?
Zeus or Phoenix, but I don't think we have support
Those
for
are good
either of them yet.
picks.
I mean, the Mutiny team works in this office. I can't believe you didn't even give them a mention. It's pretty
Yeah, well,
fucked up.
they're back in like 2 weeks, so
You just recommended a Northeast team and a French team.
no, I want to get all of them in. Actually, whenever we play poker, I do pay with my Mutiny wallet, and for the home team, they are my favorite. But
And for everybody out there, whoever plays poker with Sahil, don't fall for his.
I only said
don't
that,
fall for his
Matt,
naive.
Matt, I only said that because Ben the Carman went on Stefan Livera and uttered the word Solana in like a not totally joking way. And so I did text him about that, giving him shit. So no, but Mutiny's up there for me as well. And it's really the best non-custodial Lightning wallet, in my opinion. It's just
I liked your first
Zeus
two.
and Phoenix have been around for a little bit longer, and
I think Zeus is the best if you use your own node, and Phoenix is the best if you don't use your own node. And Mutiny is going to be a contender in the future, and I love those guys, but they're still very early.
I've got breaking news for my wife here.
oh shit.
Did you know that Ben McKenzie is a borderline pedo? He dated Misha Barton when she was 17. He was 25. This is Ben McKenzie, the guy from the OC who hates on Bitcoin mining.
Breaking news.
From my wife.
We should get Ben McKenzie, the pedo, to... No, pedo's not welcome. But if there's non-pedos that hate Bitcoin mining, we should get them to come to the takeover.
Yes. There's going to be a lot of them here. All right. That was enough pedo talk for the episode. You need to get to Houston.
I got to get to Houston. Come to the takeover, bitcoincommons.com. Information on all the events. Go to Pleb Lab. Startup Day. A lot going to be happening in Austin. March 13th to 15th.
Shark Tank, right?
What's that?
What happened?
No,
It's
we're
gonna
not.
be like
We're,
Shark Tank, right?
no.
No.
The shitcoiners are. We're definitely not doing a Shark Tank vibe.
No.
Okay.
We're getting a stage, right, Parker?
Yeah.
Okay.
It'll be a stage. It'll be like a hackathon, but just with the presentations of the hackathon.
We literally chiseled them down for 71 teams to 5 to present to you guys. So you're welcome.
I'm pretty excited about my speaking slot. I think it's going to be fire.
Well, now you're a judge, so there you go.
Now you got 2 jobs.
I'm excited.
Yeah, should be fun.
It's an honor and a privilege.
Thank
All
you.
right. Thank you guys for the
Thanks, guys.
opportunity to chill. See
my-
you all in Austin.
Send my love to the Houston Bitcoin meetup,
I will. We'll talk about Bitcoin and energy
Much
for
love
you.
to both you guys.
to Dave and crew.
See you guys. All right. We're going to get out of here without breaking all of the equipment. Okay.
Are we
See you,
going
Matt.
to, Logan, are we going to come back to me while they...
Thank you, Car. Safe driving.
Did you run into the camera or something? Like, what happened?
Tripped over one of the lines and then took down the mic. No, you're good. You're good.
The Mutiny guys are going to have the first mainnet Fedimint implementation. I've already played with it. It's pretty awesome.
I played with it too. I was giving some bug reports to Ben Carmen at like 2 a.m. one night a few weeks ago.
There's so much more productive in Madeira than in Austin.
Hey, well, that's not true at all.
I mean, it's my observations.
They're literally giving like handheld pull requests to the people working on the open source Fedimint protocol because there's people working on that protocol here in the Commons. The Mutiny's working on it right outside of them. Handwritten PRs.
They handwrite the pull requests?
Yes.
Do you type them in?
If they ask me to. If they're too busy, I will step in as secretary and type it in. Get down here to Austin during South by Southwest.
My ranch water.
Do you want to make me one, please? I didn't see this. Back to the list. U.S. Treasury admits that Wall Street Journal reported misleading numbers on Bitcoin use by militant groups. Treasury admitting this. I missed this.
I mean, we were on top of this story from the very beginning. But it's good to see. I'm not shouting them out. They can go fuck themselves. But
props where props are due.
It's good now, but it's good to see them admitting. Because they're like the fucking senators and shit are writing regulations based on this bullshit Wall Street Journal report. And it's just not true.
It's not true. I would not expect the Treasury to come out and admit this, though. Props where props are due. It's good to see.
Yeah.
Chain surveillance firms are not as reliable as one may think. OXT.
No, but even the chain surveillance firms came out and said the Wall Street Journal post is bullshit.
That's true.
Even the assholes. It was just Elizabeth Warren, basically. She just...
Do you think she's going to get primaried here?
I don't... Like, do I have any faith in her constituency? or like, the political system?
No. If history has proven anything, the people of Massachusetts don't elect the right people.
Do you want to bet?
No, I don't want to bet because I think I agree with you. I don't have any faith that it can happen, but it seems like this guy.
Well, I'm glad you got that sorted. She's probably going to get...
You get a good like out of the gate campaign video. Man from Detroit, blue collar, Marine veteran.
Wait, is she actually getting primaried?
So the attempt is out there. Yeah, she's quote tweeting the guy. She looks worried. She's on the back of her feet.
You never quote tweet the opposition. You're just giving him preach.
Yes. So beware. I mean, looks like a tough guy.
He should join Nostr.
His name's John D something. I don't know what his name is. This is not good to see, but it should be expected. The Nigerian government restricts access to Bitcoin exchanges as their currency continues to fail. We've talked about this many times throughout the last year. The Nigerian Naira is going through a hyperinflationary event. Last year, the central bank tried to remove cash notes from the economy. That failed pretty miserably. Logan, you're just hitting us with a paywall here.
He's got the cookie. Don't accept the cookies, Logan. And then also I think you got paywalled on that one. It's Financial Times is annoying about that. Sometimes it gives you the article. Like I was able to read the article. I don't subscribe, and sometimes they block you. But
Logan's
basically, the TLDR is the Nigerian naira. Their shitcoin is continuously failing and getting worse, and they're trying to block the exits. There's no such thing as Bitcoin on ramps. There's just fiat exits, and they're trying to block the fiat exits. But people are still getting through. It's like a half-assed restriction so far. And I've talked to multiple founders that are working over there, and people are still getting through and able to get Bitcoin. I think people don't realize this. Like with GameStop, when Reddit tried to fuck the suits, like the suits literally just called up Robinhood and said, turn off the buy button. Like Bitcoin has many different ways of obtaining it. Many different companies offer these services. It has P2P trades and it has mining. They can't just call up the Robinhood CEO and turn off the buy button. It's a completely different paradigm. And the suits don't realize this yet.
Yeah, and the Nigerian people have a bit of a head start against the government going back to the SARS movement, the women's movement from a couple of years ago. They did the same thing, not the same thing, but they removed access to the individuals involved with the SARS movement. They cut off their bank accounts, and they quickly adopted BTC Pay Server, I believe, as a donation mechanism to get Bitcoin into the hands of the activists who were protesting in the streets. And so there's at least a good amount of people in Nigeria who have prepared for this in one way or another. Hopefully their information sharing and resistance is futile. The Nigerian government.
The SARS movement was like an anti-police movement. It was unrelated to the disease.
Yes. Yeah, bad naming. If we're going to be
we're the naming
critics.
Naming show. You know?
He shouldn't have named it SARS. They should have gone with something else, but that's been done.
It's an acronym.
You can't be as critical on the movements as you are with the companies, but yeah, the SARS movement, they're hitting the street trying to throw SARS in everybody's face.
Governments will try Bitcoin bans as this shit gets worse. They will try. And it's, it's up to us to make sure the tools are there that make that impossible.
Yeah. Inspiring formulas in the YouTube chat. How does Nigeria still have stuff to lose? I'm not sure if you're aware, but Nigeria is one of the most oil-rich countries in the world.
They're also one of the most populous countries in the world.
They're the New Jersey of the world, the most densely populated country.
Don't give Jersey that much credit.
Jersey's the most densely populated state in the United States.
Jersey's got nothing on the Nigerian people.
There's Jersey, Nigeria, the United States. Tomato, tomato.
Jersey's not even a real state. It's just like a sub-state of New York.
Isn't that Ohio? Isn't that the conspiracy theory? Ohio doesn't exist.
I like Weirdo Robot in the comments saying Jersey is also gross.
Whoa. Jersey gets a bad rap. Okay, somebody spends a quarter of my year in New Jersey every year for my whole life. There's beautiful parts of New Jersey. Okay, it is the Garden State for a reason. Don't hate on Jersey. Politics, not so good. Landscape, not as bad as people make it out to seem. Next on the list, I had Matthew Mazinksius from Porkopolis Economics and the Crypto Voices podcast on TFTC yesterday for our monetary-based quarterly update. We do this every quarter. Matthew goes and runs the numbers, collects all the data on the central banks of the world to calculate what their monetary bases are, and then juxtapose where Bitcoin is compared to its true competitors, other base monies throughout the world. So we did that update yesterday. Few stats. Bitcoin is now currently the 7th largest base money in the world, with gold included. If you take gold out of that, which I would argue I don't think you should, but if you do, it's the 6th largest. base money in the world. It's very close to surpassing the British pound to hop into the sixth spot with gold included. I believe if we go over 58K, Bitcoin will officially be a larger base money than the British pound. It is the 10th.
Fuck you, Brits.
Yeah, suck it. The Bitcoin is the 10th largest asset in the world. So if you Saudi Aramco, Apple, Nvidia, gold, silver, Bitcoin's number 10 overall. But
dude, that Nvidia bubble is fucking real.
They're up $250 billion in market cap today. It's like, I don't see. And people are like cheering it on, like, yeah, it makes sense. It doesn't make any sense to me. They added a whole Bank of America to their market cap today.
there's some Ponzi-nomics happening over there.
There definitely is. But Matthew also does like a price analysis and gets other data. And we went over two new charts yesterday that are really bullish. To go to the first one. So he looked at the 12-month trailing payment volume comparing Bitcoin to FedWire. And if you look at that number, Bitcoin is almost double what FedWire is doing. So FedWire is the system where the banks settle behind the scenes. They settle base money transactions. So that's the direct comparison to Bitcoin. And Bitcoin is already surpassed FedWire in terms of facilitating transfers of base money at the base layer. He came to the Bitcoin transfer number by taking out change addresses. So if you send a Bitcoin address, if you send a Bitcoin transaction and you don't use a full UTXO, two transactions are actually made. One transaction to the address of the person that you're sending the money to, and then another transaction to an address associated with your wallet, your change address. So in this calculation, he takes out that change address because it's not really an economic transaction. You're just sending money back to yourself. And then he also includes batched transactions in this calculation. This is where things get really interesting, because when you include batch transactions, the transactions per second of the Bitcoin network right now are around 12. I think it's 11.6 transactions per second. You'll often hear people say that Bitcoin can only do 3 to 4 transactions per second, but actually due to batching, which enables you to, in a single transaction, create multiple inputs with Bitcoin UTXOs. So exchanges do this most popularly. If you have a bunch of people who want to withdraw Bitcoin from an exchange to their own wallets, you don't send an individual transaction for each individual user. You batch tens, hundreds, sometimes thousands of transactions together, or a little bit over 1,000. And then you send them as one transaction. And so looking at this direct comparison to FedWire, which is the transfer mechanism for the base money between U.S. banks, Bitcoin has far exceeded that already, which is pretty impressive. And so when you're looking at comparisons, is Bitcoin succeeding? Is it not? We should really hone in on the apples to apples comparisons, which the Fed transferring their base money is that apples to apples comparison. So in terms of volume of transactions, number of transactions, Bitcoin is already exceeding FedWire. If we go to the next chart, this looks at the value of those transactions, and you can't really see it, but at the bottom you'll see the small green circle in the bottom. That's the Bitcoin volume in dollars compared to the volume that goes through FedWire. Last year, FedWire did over $2 quadrillion of value transfer in their systems. Bitcoin did about 1.5 trillion, I believe. I can't read the number from here, but if you look at that black line on the chart, it's basically the ratio of FedWire value transfers to Bitcoin transfers, and that's on log scale. It's been going down pretty significantly over time. It started at 22 billion. FedWire was doing 22 billion times more value transferred than Bitcoin in 2010. Today, that sits around 799x. And at the peak of the bull market last cycle, again, using trailing 12-month numbers, so this number didn't materialize till the end of 2022, it fell to 190x. And so if the price of Bitcoin keeps going up, you can expect this ratio to fall. And I think these two particular charts are really illuminating in the sense that the ECB came out today and says Bitcoin's not succeeding. You had Andrew Ross Sorkin saying earlier this week that Bitcoin is just a speculative asset. But if you look at the data and compare Bitcoin in an apples to apples comparison with what it's competing with, which is base monies, it is actually succeeding very well. More transactions, and it's really catching up in terms of value transfer on a log scale. So if we have another 5x in price from here, that FedWire ratio to Bitcoin, the FedWire value to Bitcoin value transfer ratio should fall to around 10x. And then next cycle, we may be able to reach parity, which is pretty crazy.
I think we're going to overtake it this cycle.
Maybe. Super cycle. Matt's a super cycler.
One of the freaks clipped out you saying no more dumps. It's a ridiculous take.
I haven't seen it. Hey, I took a dump this morning, so that's not true.
Dude, keep it PG.
That's kept a PG. So yeah, I think I highly recommend. I think Matthew is one of the most underfollowed and underappreciated assets we have in Bitcoin. The economic analysis he brings to the world of Bitcoin, comparing it to the fiat monetary world, is extremely. The data he provides, the analysis he provides, is extremely high signal.
But nobody listens.
I listen. We do an episode every 3 months.
We're already all in Bitcoin.
It's going to equip you with
this-
better knowledge to convince
This should
people.
this should be the information that like the suits start to realize that Bitcoin is here to stay and is going to dominate every money in the world. And most of them are just don't pay attention. It's crazy. He's literally just broadcasting this alpha out to the world for free. And most of the suits are just completely unaware, oblivious, ignorant.
That's what I told him yesterday. I was like, this is the data we need. People are like, Bitcoin's fail. It's like, look at it. It's succeeding pretty massively right now. So go check that out.
Do you think he'd be cool with us putting that in 1031 slides?
I don't think he would mind at all. He would like it.
For
He's
better
looking
or
for
for
it.
worse, we talk to a lot of suits.
Yes.
It's
People
really
like
awkward conversation because it's just like saying fuck the suits all the time. But yeah.
Not only that, but like you're on a phone call and you're on a phone call. We're talking to suits, and you're like close to fap.stream levels of buttons. It's power play, actually.
Dude. For like, don't be the FAP influencer.
Oh, to God. Yeah, I'm kidding. It's all in jest. This is not good to see. Apple confirms that iOS version 17.4 disables progressive web app applications in the European Union.
So, Apple lost 2 cases in the European Union, or it was 1 case that was combined. They lost one that was they had to open up the App Store and allow competing app stores, and the other one was that they had to open up their browser monopoly on mobile and allow other mobile browsers. Right, like up until this point, if you use, and it's still the case everywhere except the EU, if you use an iPhone, even if you use a different browser, it's powered by Safari under the hood. So they had to open that up, and their response in both situations was to basically, be as much of an asshole as possible while being legally compliant with the court case. And so they're using the argument that because they're allowing other browsers, they can't do progressive web apps in a secure way. Progressive web apps are basically a website that acts like a native app on your phone. In Bitcoin land, Mutiny has led the way there, creating a wallet that allows you to just operate directly from a web browser, but have it feel and have it be relatively secure like a regular app would be. So now Apple's just going to block PWAs in Europe. And at first people thought like maybe it was just an issue with the beta, but Apple came out and said, no, like we're going to do it. So here we are. Yeah,
Shout out to the EU.
Ben Allen G said malicious compliance. That's a good word. I like that. That's what they're doing.
Yeah. EU. Got to get your shit together. Hate to see it. Hate to see this as well. Coinbase Commerce merchant payment processing platform no longer supports Bitcoin.
They said it's too difficult. They're Ethereum first.
L2s. We need smart contracts.
Ethereum first wallet. On the positive side, not that I feel like I should give that to them, they are exploring Lightning, and hopefully they'll add Lightning support. But right now, if you try and use a merchant that is using Coinbase Commerce, the only way you can pay with Bitcoin is if you have a Coinbase account, which is fucking ridiculous. Just use BTC Pay Server or Zaprite. Yeah, I mean, sad state of affairs. I thought, not really, but there was some hope. There was some hope out there that now that they've become a ETF custodian and their business is increasingly being the largest Bitcoin custodian in the world, that they would treat Bitcoin like a first-class citizen. But somehow, 15 years after the launch of Bitcoin, they can't figure out how to accept Bitcoin in a non-custodial way.
I mean, if I can figure it out, Coinbase should be able to figure it out. You should be embarrassed. Your companies like River, Strike, Cash App, and make it very easy to send and receive over Lightning.
It's like the DEI ESG shit. Like they actually, like the employees actually believe, like they think from like an Ethereum first mindset. Like they actually think it's a compelling argument that you can still pay with wrapped Bitcoin on like Ethereum or Solana. So like they still accept Bitcoin in a non-custodial way.
Did you see what Vitalik was saying yesterday?
I truly believe that they believe it. Like they just, it's absolutely insane. And that's, I mean, it's to our advantage, right? It's somehow at this point in Bitcoin's life cycle, it's contrarian to believe that Bitcoin is the best money and is going to absolutely dominate. And we can say it every week. We can scream it from the rooftops. And we still have our edge, fam. It's like pretty fucking crazy.
Yeah. Like to think. Brian Armstrong came out like over a year ago now and said, oh, or maybe it was last summer, said, we're gonna implement Lightning. It's not that hard.
I talked to the guy who's doing that, and I do believe they're going to implement Lightning deposits and withdrawals pretty soon.
Okay, that's good. Good to hear.
My understanding is that it's ready. It just needs to launch.
Okay. All right. From shitting on Coinbase to giving props where props are due, Coinbase donates $3.6 million to Brink to fund open source Bitcoin developers.
Every profitable Bitcoin business should support the open source developers that make this movement possible. Obviously, I'm a co-founder of OpenSats, but the guys at Brink do great work, and it's wonderful to see. They are basically they had like a Give Crypto nonprofit operation that they're getting rid of, so they just took the remaining money and gave it to Brink, is my understanding.
Nice. Good use of those funds. They weren't the only Bitcoin company to give. I won't consider them a Bitcoin company. They weren't the only company to give Brink a grant this week. River also gave Brink, I believe, a $50,000 grant to support Bitcoin development.
Love to see it. Shout out to Leishman and team. River's a great operation over there. Consider OpenSats. OpenSats.org.
Check it out.
It doesn't have to be mutually exclusive. One of the reasons I love the Bitwise announcement of 10% over 10 years was that it was split evenly between the HRF Dev Fund, Brink, and OpenSats. I think that's a really cool model. It takes a little bit of pressure off the individual teams. It's not a competition. Like I just want as many open source contributors to be supported as possible, and it's essentially a full-time job for me that I make no money from. So
Beware.
Them the facts.
Those are the facts of OpenSats. Here are the facts of the status of Julian Assange. It says Julian Assange appeals in the most important press freedom case in the world. So London's High Court has scheduled 2 days of hearings on Tuesday and Wednesday. So that was yesterday and the day before. I believe so. Or is this next week? This might be next week.
No, it's happening right now.
It's happening right now. Which is weird because it's Thursday. Come on. No bullshit, Bitcoin. Get your days
Logan,
right.
click the primal link I have. Yeah, let's listen to Stella. This one we should play. This is Julian's wife on the appeals case.
I just want to speak a little bit to you because it's only a handful of us inside the room that actually can follow the proceedings. So I wanted to tell you about what was going on in there. We opened and we talked about Julian's political opinions and his political motivations. And they are clear and they're unchallenged, which is to expose state criminality. And what happens when you expose state criminality? The United States has taken a politically motivated prosecution against a journalist because he exposed them committing crimes. And so what's going on inside this courtroom is to determine how the extent of the cover-up. How is this court going to deal with this case? We heard that the case was only brought after the United States said that it would do anything to prevent the International Criminal Court from examining an investigation into U.S. activities in Afghanistan. And of course, WikiLeaks evidence in the publication that Julian's indicted over are part of that case. WikiLeaks has been used as evidence in the European Court of Human Rights and other foreign courts to expose state criminality. And the United States is abusing its legal system in order to hound and prosecute and intimidate all of you. What's at stake is the ability to publish the truth and expose crimes when they're committed by states. The outcome of this hearing today will make it clear the extent of the cover-up. The only fair, I shouldn't even talk about fairness at this stage, because the country that's trying to extradite him plotted to murder him. What are we even entertaining in these courts? How can any How can you even entertain this hearing, knowing what we know? It's all on the public record. And yet it continues. It's only a handful of us in that room, but you know what the stakes are. You understand what this is about. It's about you, it's about us, it's about the public's right to know. It's about the right to be able to speak freely without being put in prison and hounded and terrorized by the state. Thank you.
Damn, I'm getting a little emotional over here. It's crazy how long, because of how long this Assange saga has been going on. It's easy to forget the gravity of the situation, but just from brass tacks, first principles, like the fundamental rights that Assange is fighting for is something that everybody should be able to agree upon. If the state commits crimes, the people should have the right to know that, and the state should be persecuted for those crimes and prosecuted for those crimes. And the fact that they're going this far to shut him up and try to kill him should be a massive wake-up call for everybody.
He legit just published information.
Yeah.
And if, first of all, It takes incredible courage from Stella Assange to to speak and speak in front of so many people. She's obviously not a natural speaker, but it's
Thought you did pretty
incredible
good.
for all of us. But if you've been paying attention to the Assange case ever since he was arrested in Sweden, there's been this bullshit going around that like the goal wasn't to extradite him to the United States, and they've run him through the ringer. He was in the Ecuadorian embassy for years, essentially in like solitary confinement because he couldn't leave, and the embassy was like a half-assed embassy. And then the Brits took him into custody, and now he's being extradited to the United States, and it's incredibly fucked up, and it's a stain on our country, and he should be freed. He should be freed immediately.
Yeah. No, just to show like the lengths of the corruption, and the fact that all these governments play together. I mean, hopefully, God willing, he is freed, but it's not looking good. One of the 2 high court judges who will rule on Julian Assange's bid to stop the extradition to the U.S. represented the UK's Secret Intelligence Service, MI6, and the Ministry of Defense. Declassified as found. So they have a integrated intel asset on the stand in the UK right now who's unlikely to reject the extradition clause from the U.S. or extradition request.
It's a fucking kangaroo court. Always has been.
Yeah.
It's fucked up.
That's beyond fucked up. Again, like a fundamental human right to access to information, the truth. And like you said, all he shared was information. He didn't attack anybody. He just said, hey, these files have been brought to me, and here's what your government's doing on behalf of your name with your tax dollars. Committing war crimes, human atrocities. You should know about this. As an American, I'm very thankful that Julian Assange has released that information. All the information that WikiLeaks has released, whether it's in regards to the NSA. Well, that was Snowden, but WikiLeaks has those files available too now, I believe. Hillary Clinton's laptop, the DNC corruption that was discovered in there, and obviously the Middle East war leaks as well.
Those are the originals.
Yeah.
That's what got them really angry.
Yeah. They don't want you to know. And they're literally, and especially in the context of this week too, with this trial going on, there's not been much mainstream coverage of it. And obviously what happened in Russia last week with Navalny dying in custody, in Russian custody, is terrible. And that is an atrocity in and of itself. But the lack of awareness from the corporate media here in the U.S. to be talking about that week in and week out, and literally not standing up for Julian Assange is insane.
That's fucked up.
What?
Okay.
What?
First of all, I know it's an election cycle. Biden can go fuck himself. To all you Trumpers out there, Trump
are you saying that's fucked up to me or to the chat?
Trump could have pardoned Assange if he wanted to. He could have pardoned Snowden if he wanted to. He didn't. This is a, this is something both ruling parties in America can agree on. What I said is fucked up is Navalny being a side note on the Assange topic, because I put it in the list separately.
Oh, I wasn't saying here. I was talking. I wasn't. We're obviously going to cover this because we cover this shit, but the corporate media is not talking about the Assange case at all.
Yeah,
they're all over this. Like, government's killing people. The U.S. government is literally trying to kill Julian Assange.
I know. I agree. I agree, and we should 100% free Assange. And what we've done to him is a crime against humanity and a crime against him and his family. But the both sides Navalny thing is just a little bit frustrating. It's a little bit frustrating.
What do you mean?
I mean, there's a certain group of people that can't talk about Navalny unless they talk about U.S. crimes.
Okay, I can see that.
And I think it's a disgrace to his family and a disgrace to him. I've worked with the Navalny, some of the people of the Navalny team, because they had a very comprehensive Bitcoin strategy to get around Putin. And what Navalny did, putting his life at risk, going back to the country after he was poisoned, is commendable. Is absolutely commendable. And Putin 100% fucking killed him. And Putin knew that if he killed him, half of this country would just blame the U.S. government, because that's what we do now. So he had complete ability to fucking pull it off, and he just fucking did it. And he still hasn't given the body back to the family. Claims it's sudden death syndrome. And,
Sudden death.
Yeah, sudden death syndrome is what hit Navalny in Arctic.
That's what
jail.
they're actually saying.
Yep.
Interesting. I don't appreciate you saying I'm like both sidings this. I'm trying to call out. They're both, Assange and Navalny is extremely fucked up. Matthew and I actually talked about it for quite a bit during our episode yesterday.
I mean, we can call out corporate media. I mean, Tucker Carlson just did like a 2-week fucking publicity tour for Putin.
Yeah, we talked about that too.
Does he count as corporate media?
I think to a certain extent, yeah. He came from Fox News. Now he runs his own independent media. Who knows?
Okay.
I don't appreciate you saying I'm both siding this topic
look,
here.
I said my piece.
Yeah, you did.
I said my piece.
We have breaking news on the show.
What?
Bitcoin related. Marathon. Digital Holdings, a leader in supporting and securing the Bitcoin ecosystem, has launched Slipstream, a direct Bitcoin transaction submission service designed to streamline confirmations of large or non-standard Bitcoin transactions. It looks like Marathon Digital is entering the fray of out-of-band transactions.
Oh, okay. But they just have like a website where you can just submit transactions? Breaking.
Adding more. Yeah, the site is just Marathon Slipstream. Adding more RAM to mempool. Check back later.
Okay. A non-story. But it's... expect more of this. Like, of course, miners are going to become more frequently accepting transactions out of band, where you're not broadcasting to the Bitcoin network and you're sending directly to them. We've seen miners do it in the past, especially in higher fee environments. But I guess now it's more likely because there's so many non-standard shitcoin transactions that are happening on Bitcoin that the regular network's not relaying. So you can just now paste it there. Just keep in mind that if anything is remotely controversial, Marathon is not going to mine your transaction. Because they might be one of the most compliant miners in the world. They're the ones who tried to do the OFAC mining pool. Clean blocks.
Green blocks. They tried green blocks and OFAC compliant. Two different. Still Assange, Putin. I mean, on that note too, you brought up Tucker. Did you see Borris Johnson wanted him to pay him in Bitcoin to do an interview?
Dollars, gold, or Bitcoin?
Yeah, didn't want the UK.
They want pounds.
He didn't want pounds. The former Prime Minister of the United Kingdom.
Has Borris responded to that?
I don't know. I haven't seen one. If he has, did not want pound sterling, dollars, gold, or Bitcoin.
Bitcoin is the best for that.
Pay to play.
I mean, that was particularly fucked up. If you believe Tucker at face value, if what Tucker says is true, is like particularly fucked up because Borris was like, you can't interview Putin, and he was like, but at the same time he's like, but if you want to interview me, you have to pay me $1 million in Bitcoin. which is fucking ridiculous. Like, you go fuck yourself, Borris Johnson. And to be clear, I think Tucker's well within his right to interview Putin. I think it was a very interesting interview. I think, journalists should interview people. The more frustrating thing is like the pans of like the subway system and shit. Like all of that shit he added on top of it.
I agree there. I don't know why you got mad at me for saying I'm mad at the media here for not covering the Assange thing. Like, these people,
I love you, Marty.
they're redcoats. They're redcoats. Like, they like to.
No, the Navalny thing hit me hard. I don't like it as like, oh, the introduction to Navalny is just like as a side note to the,
I'm sorry.
to the Assange story.
I didn't mean for it to be a side note.
Yeah, that's all.
It
was like it was a loving fuck you.
All right.
You see the next thing I have on the list while we're on this topic?
Yeah, like people being.
Hit your radar?
I saw it on No Bullshit Bitcoin. I didn't dive into it, though. El Salvador ex-security advisor accused ruling party of corruption dies in custody. Alejandro Moixont, a former national security advisor of El Salvador's government, who had accused a congressman from the ruling New Ideas Party of corruption and drug trafficking, died in state custody in unclear circumstances, his family told reporters. Damn.
This guy, Bitcoiner, 2012 class Bitcoiner, was on Nostr.
He was on Nostr.
Exposed corruption in the ruling party of El Salvador. Gets thrown in jail. Was in jail for about a year. Solitary confinement. The whole 9 yards. Shows up dead. Very few people talking about this one.
The justification from the Bukele team is that he included the alleged crimes included leaking documents to journalist and former leftist president Mauricio Funes, who is now based in Nicaragua. After Alejandro was arrested, Bukele said there was evidence he helped Funes evade capture. Prosecutors accused Funes of tax evasion, illicit association, and failure to perform duties over a gang truce negotiated in 2012. Funes denied negotiating with gangs. Damn.
Pablo's in the comments saying Alejandro told him that he was the one that orange pilled Bukele.
Damn. Governments, man. Can't trust any of them.
We love you, Pablo. I know it's been a tough day over there.
Love you, Pablo. Bitkey shares code for firmware, their mobile app server, and hardware schematics. So Bitkey, the hardware device, the signing device from Block. They launched and said they want it to be as open as possible with this. So disclosing the code for the firmware, the mobile app, the server, and hardware schematics is in line with those principles that they set out to strive for. So if you want to go look at that.
Yeah, this is really great to see, especially from a publicly traded large financial institution. Very rare. It's worth noting that their license is commercially restricted. So you can modify it, you can use it as how you want to use it, you can review it, you can verify it, but you cannot sell it. You cannot modify it and sell it. It's commercially restricted. So it's worth noting that. And my understanding is that Block's earnings are today, which means your favorite blue check influencer is going to be posting charts about how much Bitcoin Block sold. So, preemptive breaking. Let it be known.
Cash App sold a lot of Bitcoin.
Yeah, as they do every quarter.
All right. This is the software development section of the podcast. Before we read all the software updates, we are going to read the top 4 boosts from Rabbit Hole Recap 292. Bitcoin is a short squeeze on the entire fiat system. Short squeeze is upon us.
Name. That was such a good name.
Got a lot of views too. Matt's trying to game the YouTube algorithm to get us more views with these titles. At Sir Bitcoin boosted 100,000 sats. Dive deep into ancient waters of Bitcoin Atlantis, where cyber warriors clash for liquidity. In this lightning-enabled showdown, brave Bitcoiners vie for 5.2 million sats in intense battles of skill and strategy where only the victor claims the spoils. Tune in to Zap.stream, engage with Bitcoiners, Zapper commentators, and immerse yourself in the grandeur. Sponsored by Bitbox. Not this show, but this tournament. Qualifying tournaments, March 1st and 2nd at 2 and 4 p.m. The main event is March 3rd at 1 p.m. More info at chainduel.net. Chainduel.net.
Is that the Chain Duel video game?
I believe so, yes.
That's cool. So it's a cool game.
Yes.
By the way, on the naming topic of the last week's episode, did you see that Max DeMarco posted on Nostr that a college class is using his Nostr documentary?
Yeah, I did see that.
And the name of the college class is Social Media Communications, which is insane. Like huge shout out to Max. Like, I'm proud of him, but there should not be a college class on social media communications. But if there is, I was thinking like maybe I just pivot, leave Bitcoin, not work in Bitcoin, and I just teach a class on caps. I think that could be a compelling thing for college students everywhere. Just all caps all day, forever.
The validity of all caps in your social media communications and
You
its
have to
impact
speak
on influence.
It's important to speak clearly.
If you have to go to college to take a class on social media and communications, you're doing it wrong. The best place to learn is in the arena.
Marty's in the arena.
Could you imagine if like we were like teaching get Twitter like, all right, here's how you go viral, kids. Let's find the most triggering thing you can.
Like, what the fuck? They paid a shit ton of money for it too. Insane.
You shouldn't be paying for that class, but luckily they are giving out some good information if they're going through the Max's Nostr documentary.
No, yeah, that documentary is really good. Max does good work.
Yes, he does.
And he's branching out too. Like, he has water ones, seed oil ones.
The seed oil one was really good. It's a good one. Shout out to you, Max. Up next on the shout outs,
Come Rocket.
69,420 sats. San Diego Bitcoiners meet up Thursday, March 14th, 2024 from 6 to 9 p.m. at Quantum Brewing, 5375 Kearney Villa Road, Unit 116, San Diego, California. Seat. C-E-T-E.
No, you're the only one reading it.
Is a noun. A group of badgers. A group of badgers is a seat. Local Bitcoiner Ben will be presenting on Bitcoinization, y Pura Vida, SynPay, Bitcoin Jungle app, and the Bitcoin movement in Costa Rica. 6 p.m. gather. 6:45 presentation. 9 p.m. close. Don't want to RSVP here. Check us out on Flockster. Stay up, G's. Peace and love. Peace and love to you, Come Rocket. At Ben Justman, boosted 69,069 sats. Did Marty ever drink the bottle of wine I gave him? The answer is no, because I've been waiting for it. Been waiting for it to age a little bit, Ben. How long should I let this age? We got Penny Lane, Cabernet Sauvignon, 2020. So it's aged for almost 4 years now. I've been told you need your cabs to age like 5 to 7 years.
So not only did I have the pleasure to go to Ben's family home and vineyard and taste the wine there before he was Twitter famous, and bought 4 bottles from him with Bitcoin, I did drink multiple bottles, and I also have bottles that are aging. It's not a competition.
Yes.
But shout out Ben.
No, I saw this boost and brought the bottle in because I wanted to show it on air.
Oh, wow. He reads the boosts ahead of time, freaks. I mean, I hope someone's out there verifying that he's actually reading the top boost, because I'm not.
You could easily verify yourself. But yeah, I'd like to recommend it. It's also like it's the first bottle of Penny Lane that you gave me. Like, I sort of want to keep it as I have a lot of Bitcoin trinkets, if you will. This is like one of them. What?
Is it pronounced Penny Lane?
I'm pretty sure.
But it's Peony lane.
Yeah. Peony lane? Peony? Say it
Peony?
fast enough. Peony? I thought it was penny. I could be wrong.
I like weirdo rub out in the comments. It's not a competition, but fuck you.
It's Peony Lane.
Peony?
Peony.
It's not.
Okay, we got
It's
Logan, our pronunciation expert here on Rabbit Hole Recap, letting us know it's what. How do you pronounce it, Logan?
Pretty Lane.
Pretty. Okay. God
Pretty
damn it,
sure
Logan.
the two pronunciations are different.
Out of bamboo should be sent to what address, Marty? Marty at GetAlby.com.
You got to send it to Mara.
Last and final boost from Rabbit Hole Recap 292. Lebanese _hodl boosted 55,555 sats. 5s across the board. Palindrome boost. 5s across the board for Zeus's 5th birthday. Our case study of the new sexy Zeus logo rebrand is live at sundayafternoon.us/studio/Zeus-identity. If you are a Bitcoin company or a Bitcoin investor fund looking for brand design work for your portfolio companies, we want to help. We believe we can bring great brand design and storytelling to Bitcoin and freedom tech companies. Reach out at Lebanese Hodl on Nostr. Stay humble. Stack sats.
Let's fucking go. Great advice. I
Great
like
advice.
Nostr.
Bitcoin needs better design, so thank you for doing the work that you do, Lebanese Hodl. You really need better aesthetic design, better UX design. I've been saying this for years. Peony Lane is what BTC...
Peony. If a jellyfish stings your knee, you pee a knee.
Jesus Christ, Logan. You're
It's
banned
easier-
from the you're banned from the mic for the rest of the episode.
This is why he's our pronunciation expert on Rabbit Hole Recap.
You didn't catch the joke? Don't.
And
You've
it's a
been
myth
banned
that
from the mic
works.
for the rest of the episode.
No, you're not. Keep speaking. Make sure to join us multiple times.
Teeny weeny memple wine. Teeny weeny memple wine. BTC Pins is saying Peony Lane. I don't know if he's trolling us or I assume he's being genuine with his attempt to help us pronounce. I can't even speak. Pronounce. Peony Lane. Shout out to you, Ben. I'm waiting for it to age. Tell me if I shouldn't. Back to the software update list. Got that one already. Brains Pool introduces lightning payouts. This is pretty big
In the future, though.
in the future.
It was like 2 weeks.
We're working with Voltage to bring about lightning payouts for miners. The feature is currently in private beta, so it's released in beta, but public release is expected within weeks, 2 weeks TM. So it's good to see. The mining industry has been waiting for lightning payouts, particularly smaller miners who don't want to wait months and months on end for the reward payout to build up to a point where they're not receiving dust. So now, with this partnership between Voltage and Brains, they'll be able to receive their payouts as they happen over the Lightning Network, so they don't have to worry about on-chain fees.
They still need to wait till the channel closes in dust.
You could open a fat channel. You can do whatever. You could.
But if
receive
one side's like 5,000 sats, it's like
You could also receive to a custodial Lightning. Just get quicker payouts and then.
so instead
Sweep
of
it off.
brain, the custodian, it's just wallet of Satoshi.
Yeah.
But anyway, this is good to see. I'm just kind of being a dick. Voltage, Brains, both stand-up companies in the space. Cool to see them working together. A little bit weird that they announced the announcement, but
Yeah, and this lays the groundwork. God, I can't talk. This lays the groundwork for companies like Satoshi Energy, which are working to basically pair mining companies with energy companies, help them get the power deal, get the infrastructure, and then ideally down the road set up a mechanism so that miners can pay their power bills in Bitcoin as they're mining Bitcoin. And so this is one of the steps that would make that significantly easier. You can imagine a future in which Lightning payments via mining pools is widely adopted, and you can set up these payout structures. You can essentially use something like Podcasting 2.0 KeySend, where you set up a contract with your power provider, you mine Bitcoin, you get paid out in Lightning, and you automatically split the payment to the miner.
and use
And
KeySend. I love Keysend too.
Why can't you use Keysend for that?
Because the big trade-off with Keysend is no receipts.
Well, you could have some internal software.
But you're gonna pay your power provider without a receipt.
Maybe you have like third-party software that says, "All right, I got paid. Here's your receipt." That's actually a good point. But you do know if the payment fails, right?
You can do the payment through eCash and get a receipt.
Do the payment what?
Through eCash and get a receipt.
That as well. Point remains. You get these sci-fi like.
Look, I fucking love Keysend.
capabilities.
That is the main negative of Keysend. That's why we don't use Keysend for everything.
But if the payment fails,
That's why it works great for podcasting 2.0 because they're donations. They're value for value donations. You do not need a receipt for a donation unless you're trying to get tax deductibility status, which you do not get if you support our podcast via podcasting 2.0.
uh-oh. More breaking news.
What is it this time?
Breaking! Reddit invested excess cash reserves into Bitcoin, per their most recent SEC filing. We invested some of our excess cash reserves in Bitcoin and Ether, and also acquired Ether and Matic as a form of payment for sales of certain virtual goods. We may continue to do so in the future. Ether and Matic received, wow, I can't believe they're buying Matic, from the sales of virtual goods was not material for the year ended December 31st, 2022 and 2023.
Polygon?
I think so. We also acquired and hold digital assets that are cryptocurrencies for use by our product and engineering teams, which is limited to specific uses. The prices of cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoin, Ether, and Matic have been and may continue to be highly volatile, and our ability to sell cryptocurrencies
Does it not
for
say
fiat.
the amount?
I'm reading it. Can you not? Do you want me to sit here in silence and try and find it, or just read the announcement?
Yes.
No announcement of how much excess cash reserves.
It's a non-story, and we just gave them free press.
FOMO, institutional FOMO, public market FOMO.
It's a Matic. Reddit's not a public company yet.
I'm pretty sure they went public. Is Reddit public?
Are they public?
They made their IPO filing public, so I guess they had to release this
That's
information.
why they had to say this.
Yes.
It sounds like this is like working capital.
Seems like they're experimenting with stuff. Shitcoining. He's only at 10% of its shares in the IPO. Yeah. So they're going through the IPO process. Too many people in the Nostr live chat sitting on cummies. Weird robot.
What is that?
Don't do it. I don't know. It just sounds terrible. All right, back to the software update. BDK version 1.0.0 alpha 0.6 has been released with TX Builder fix. Cold Card Q version 0.0.6 beta has been released. Anything you want to talk about? Have you been playing around with yours?
One thing I missed is the QR scanner is not like a traditional camera. It's like a barcode scanner that's connected directly to the secure element. It's pretty fucking clean. It works really well.
Nice. That's the comment you have?
Yeah, I've been playing with it's a dope piece of hardware.
Yeah. Cashew Nutshell version 0.15.0 has been released. Support for Cashew V1 protocol. This is a pretty big update for them. Cashew Nutshell is a Chaumian eCash wallet, and Mint for Bitcoin Lightning. Cashew Nutshell is the reference implementation in Python. So the Cashew protocol has recently been updated to its first stable version. That's why this is a big update. So if you're running Cashew Nutshell app, you have your first stable release. Pretty big to see. Fediment version 0.2.2 has been released with recommended bug fixes. Nothing too crazy there. Cashew-address.com has been released. It's moving to npub.cache and integrates NIP46.
So this is really cool. So you have what is essentially it acts like a custodial Lightning wallet, right? That has Lightning address support. and your Lightning address is literally just your npub, which is your Nostr public key, at npub.cash. Anyone can pay your npub, even if you haven't signed up. Anyone can pay your npub if you have an npub on Nostr, and you can access those funds using your Nostr private key, your nsec. Pretty cool. You have privacy from the custodian because it's Tron and eCash. And then you can pay out to any Lightning wallet at will whenever you want to. I think it's a very clean way of handling things. We already have a directory of known public keys because of Nostr. So why not leverage that?
Yeah. It's really cool to see how fast all this is happening. The convergence of Nostr, eCash, Lightning, the experimentation between single operator mints and Fedi mints. It's all happening, freaks. Beautiful, beautiful time to be alive. Samurai Dojo version 1.23.0 has been released with an updated estimator, API, mempool persistence, and more. Staying on the CoinJoin updates, Join Market version 0.9.11 has been released with wallet performances and RPC API improvements. Foundation Passport version 2.3.0 has been released with full taproot support, seed QR export, and more. Citadel version 0.3.3 has been released with Connect wallet improvements and optimizations. Bitcoin Tribe version 2.4.0 has been released with testnet support for RGB assets. All right, you got to pick one. Can't pick neither. RGB or TapAss.
Neither.
I just said you can't. You got to pick one.
Well, one thing I didn't put on the list is Justin's son is bringing Tron assets to Bitcoin with inscriptions and all that nonsense.
It's a beautiful thing to see. Don't dodge the question. RGB or TapAss. You have to pick one.
That's what I'm saying. Like out of the three, that's probably going to be the one that's most successful. Like he can go fuck himself, but let's be honest here.
You got to pick one.
I picked it.
No. Out of the two, I listed
Tron assets on Bitcoin.
Noted freaks. He's dodging the question.
I think both are irrelevant.
Okay, we'll see.
Feel
I'm
free
not
to
sure.
skew on Twitter over it. I'm not going to respond.
I'm undecided.
Yeah,
Bitcoin
see, Marty loves doing this. He's the hype man. This is why he'd be a poor judge at Top Builder.
Oh, I'm going to be the most critical judge there is.
Marty, pick one.
I think RGB.
Over TapAss? You're a big TapAss guy, I thought.
No, that's no, RGB, they've been working at it longer. I think the architecture may be a little better. Actually, talking out of my ass. I got to do more research.
Look, I'm short assets on Bitcoin. There's one asset on Bitcoin. It's Bitcoin. There is no second best.
It really isn't.
Right now, in our relatively low transaction demand world that supposedly is even still beating FedWire, they're able to afford to send these transactions. But I don't see that happening long term. Long term, the Bitcoin network is a settlement network for the most freedom money we've ever had in the world, and that has the highest level of demand. And all this asset stuff, all this other bullshit will just go to centralized shit because most of it is centralized anyway. So why wouldn't it be on centralized shit? And that's why Tron Tether is fucking dominating. It's because no one cares about censorship resistance if they're using Tron Tether because they have to trust Tether anyway.
Yeah. Justin's son coming to Bitcoin. Prodigal son returns.
Never has been.
He might be one of the most. I don't know if infuriating is the right word. I mean, so you sort of have to respect the.
It's amazing he hasn't landed in jail yet.
He's like literally like the cheesiest, like worst con man. Like
But he somehow like stays behind the scenes, you know, like no one really.
Which is funny because like he's like
talks about like CZ and all these other guys. No one really ever talks about him
because he puts the most effort into being a front man too. It's very confusing.
Yeah. He does a balancing act.
Yeah. Blue Wallet version 6.5.4 has been released with fixes and optimizations. I skipped over Bitcoin Keeper version 1.1.11 has been released with the UX overhaul and add multiple wallets and more. Lightning Loop version 0.27.1 beta has been released with automatic sweeping of incorrectly deposited amounts. Hack Zero, open source plug and play Bitcoin node for vendors, has been released as well. So Hack Zero is an open source Bitcoin node which is particularly well suited for vendors who want to self-host their own BTC Pay server in a non-custodial and trustless way, created by Nicolas Dorier. The Hack Zero is running BTC Pay server as its software. This is cool to see. Shout out to Nicholas.
Still don't know how they get around the fact that you can't use it unless you expose your IP address. I mean, unless your customers are all paying via Tor.
I mean, what's the problem with that, though? They're not. Are they marketing it that way? It just seems like they want to do it.
Well, the
Maybe
whole idea is
trustless.
like, a merchant is like self-hosting their payment processor. Like they're running a box in their.
Yeah. It has to connect to the internet, right?
Yeah, so like the way you get around it is you run Tor, or you run a VPN too, like a VPS. I know it's not like the perfect cypherpunk ideal, but like to me, BTC Pay server, like if you're actually a merchant of any kind of size, like your BTC Pay server runs on a cloud server somewhere.
Yeah.
And on-chain payments aren't held there, and Lightning is a hot wallet, and that's just a trade-off that Lightning makes.
Yeah.
But like you need uptime. You don't want to expose your like retail IP address with a hot wallet on it.
Yeah. Still cool to see.
Cool project.
Some edge cases to figure out.
This is the main issue with self-hosting BTC Pay server, and very few people talk about it. It's just a little bit frustrating.
Yeah. You know what's frustrating, Matt, is how humble you are. Logan, pull it up. You just talked about the queue. You're part of the product. When you guys get your queues next week, scroll down, Logan, or click the picture. There's an Odell button. Scroll down, bottom left. Scroll down. Scroll in.
This is actually a Photoshop.
I heard this is like how the product actually releases.
It does have a caps lock key, which is important. It should have one. Two things. First of all, great to see Blue Check Rob Hamilton posting on Nostr again. I've noticed you've been missing for a while. Second of all, who the fuck put affair in the word list? And how many did he have? Did you see what his words are?
A fair start.
Yeah.
Like that's what I thought at first. I was like, wait a second, is Rob accusing Matt? Is this some like weird messaging?
No, so that actually it's a valid seed word. Like Cold Card uses the seed word list for their
BIP39
anti-maid technology. So like the way Cold Card works is you put your first half of the seed in, right? And then it gives you 2 words from the seed list, not your actual seed words of the private key. And it uses a secret from the secure element. So you can't choose those 2 words, but every time you use that device, it should show those same 2 words when you put in your first half of your PIN. And the reason they do that is because there's an attack called an evil maid attack, where someone can switch out your hardware device with an evil device, and they can try and take your PIN that way. But the point remains is like, who put affair in the BIP39 list? Like, it's a ridiculous word to have there.
We're gonna have to take it up with the people who created BIP39. I don't know. I'm
Like,
looking
if
through
Marty
it right
was
now.
in charge of the BIP39 list, like, we know porn would be in that list, but it's not.
No, because porn's slang. It's pornography.
Marty would have put pornography in the word list. Thanks for correcting the record.
Adam, attack. Yeah, fair, afford. It is cool to go through these. It is crazy how.
Like, they just chose words.
And they create these private keys that secure all of our wealth and access to our wallets. It's insane. Moving on the list.
By the way, rip puppy sale. Those are my
Puppy sale.
best evil made words.
Primal Android version 0.93.2 has been released with support for on-chain transactions, unified QR, and more. Pretty big update.
Jen said Prime will keep shipping.
They really do. Shout out to you, Miljan and team. Amethyst version 0.84.3 has been released with NIP49 and NIP92 support, community and public chat list events.
Huge shout out to Vitor and the rest of the contributors over at Amethyst.
Logan, I know you're an Amethyst stan. Any comments on? You can use the mic again. I'm giving you permission.
You don't need permission, Logan.
He's refusing to.
No, Logan.
Amethyst is for Zapstream. That's it.
That's all you use it for?
It has fantastic Zapstream support.
Amethyst is better for Zapstream than Zapstream.
Yeah, on mobile. Mobile Zapstream doesn't really work that great in the browser.
Yeah. Ugh. That's all we got.
I would love to see more clients integrate Zapstream. I know a bunch are working on it.
Seems like it should be like Flockster. Flockster should like integrate it for all these meetups that they do live streams like we do here at the Commons sometimes.
That and the new Noster Nests, which are both the project of Kieran, should be first class citizens and clients. Like, I think it's a big win for us. Weirdo Robots disagreeing with me, saying Zapstream mobile is the shit. So maybe I'm wrong. I love Zapstream. I appreciate Kieran.
Appreciate all of you joining in the live chat, joining in the recorded version, if you're contributing via Zaps or Boost.
I'm being told by some of the Noster comments that affairs are not only sexual; they can also be a political or international affair, which is a fair comment. You know,
Fair comment on affairs.
Yeah.
I got some economic stats I could throw out. If we want to go macro here.
Yeah, sure. What do you want to talk about?
Did you know that currently the amount of interest payments United States citizens are paying on their debt is $550 billion?
Is that personal?
Personal
Or
credit.
Does that include business or just
personal consumer credit?
How much is it?
$550 billion, just interest payments alone, not even taking care of the principal.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
How much is that in Bitcoin terms?
Half the network, more than half the network right now. So 9.5 million Bitcoin.
A year?
I guess a year, or I think
In interest payments?
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy.
Americans have run out of savings too. The savings glut that built up over COVID is officially gone. It's not a glut anymore. People are going into debt. The average credit card interest rate is above 20% at 21.47.
Oh, I saw something that Tony posted on Noster. The Exodus Wallet Snap package. So Snap is like a storefront or like an app store on Linux. Was compromised, and someone lost $500,000 on it.
Damn.
First of all, Exodus is a shitty wallet, so don't use that. But second of all, like, fuck Snap. Like, don't trust Snap.
Yeah. This is a crazy chart.
I think Noster's going to fix the App Store environment. where you have like a web of trust that verifies the signatures for you, because the current status quo is that you just trust Apple or Google to verify the signatures, and then if you don't do that, the individuals have to verify signatures, and most people don't verify signatures even though they should. When you verify a signature, there's no man in the you mitigate the man in the middle, where like if Craig Raw releases a new Sparrow wallet release and you verify the GPG signatures of that release, that it is you got the release that Craig wanted you to get, that someone else didn't put a malicious release in between. Like Google's App Store, Google Play Store, iPhone App Store, you're trusting Google or Apple to verify the signatures. But I think there's a bunch of guys working on a Nostr alternative to that over in Madeira, where it's like a web of trust system, and the signatures are verified that way. So I think it's cool.
That is really cool. We're going to do it. We're going to fix this. We're going to fix this. It's happening. It's not only insane to see how fast everything's happening in Nostr, but the quickness of integrations from Bitcoin tools, whether it's eCash systems or Lightning. Like, remember a year and a half ago, 2 years ago? It was 2 years ago when we first started talking to JB55 about all this. Like, it was like, oh, this is cool. When I first downloaded Damus, I didn't even know how to send a message or create an MPub properly. Didn't know what my pub key was, and look at where we are now. We're live streaming, accepting Bitcoin over Zap.stream, talking about all these cool projects, how Nostr is going to fix app stores. It's pretty insane.
When Nostr only, Marty?
I don't know. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know.
Did you install Twitter on your phone again?
No.
Are you
Yes.
signed in on the mobile browser? Yes?
No.
You said yes?
I did. I catered. Or caved.
Called
I got an addiction. Help me. Hello, my name is Marty Bent, and I'm addicted to Twitter.
Love your freaks. Stay humble, stack sets.
Peace and love.